Urgent, authoritative intelligence has evolved into the ultimate arbiter of state survival, dictating which nations command their own futures and which become dependent on others. We have entered the era of technopolitics, where a nation's algorithmic dominance now determines its standing in international relations and the success of its domestic economy. For a mid-sized power like Turkey, the stakes are concrete. Falling behind in this race means surrendering sovereign decision-making, ceding control over critical infrastructure and data to external powers. This shift is a fundamental struggle for control over the rules that will govern the global order for decades. Currently, 3 models dominate the global AI landscape. Techno-realism is the most aggressive, prioritizing raw state power, rapid deployment, and geopolitical hegemony. This power-first mindset is deeply embedded in the culture of Western tech monopolies, where engineering speed is often detached from national or public interests. The techno-pragmatic model offers an alternative, focusing on controlled risk management. However, it tends to keep regulatory authority within elite corporate circles, rather than democratic institutions. Finally, techno-humanism attempts to set strict ethical boundaries, prioritizing human dignity and resisting the expansion of surveillance capitalism. While these ethical pushbacks often come from influential moral authorities, they generally lack the operational tools required to defend a nation's strategic interests in conflict. For a nation in a volatile region, choosing a single model is a trap. Focusing only on ethics creates strategic vulnerability, while focusing only on power erodes the trust of the citizenry. Turkey enters this debate with significant strategic capacity. The state has long viewed AI not as a consumer trend, but as a core requirement for national security. Turkey has successfully integrated advanced AI into field-tested autonomous defense systems, securing a tangible advantage on the modern battlefield. Yet, this success reveals a paradox. While the military application of AI is highly advanced, civilian public services struggle with a severe governance gap. This gap manifests as fragmented data infrastructures across government agencies, a lack of transparency in decision-making, and an incomplete legal framework for accountability. Supremacy in the field cannot fully secure the nation if the internal civic infrastructure remains fragile and lacks public trust. It is tempting for Turkey to simply adopt the aggressive techno-realist blueprint to close the civilian gap quickly, but the report warns that techno-realism carries a hidden cost. It tends to categorize cultures as either functional or dysfunctional, placing those who only consume technology in a position of permanent dependence. This exclusionary worldview is at odds with Turkey's civilizational heritage, which is built on a foundation of pluralism and human-centric relations. Adopting a purely hegemonic model would require Turkey to abandon these values for a seat in a technological hierarchy it did not design. Turkey's solution is a bespoke synthesis model, an architectural framework that extracts only the necessary elements from existing global approaches. From techno-realism, it takes strategic capacity, ensuring the state maintains the technical power and speed to avoid external dependence. From techno-pragmatism, it takes safe design, embedding rigorous testing and risk management directly into the development of its systems. And from techno-humanism, it takes social legitimacy, ensuring that transparency and human dignity are the final governors of the entire structure. By combining capacity, safety, and legitimacy, the state can build the technical strength it needs while maintaining the public trust required to sustain it. Transitioning to this model requires immediate action, starting with a risk-based AI classification for all government institutions. This system would strictly separate routine administrative tools from high-risk applications like biometric surveillance and judicial support, subjecting each to a different level of oversight. This requires new legislation to unify Turkey's fragmented data governance, making national infrastructures both more efficient and more accountable to the law. The state must also develop interdisciplinary human capital, public servants who possess a deep understanding of code, law, and sociology. Turkey's path forward is to demonstrate a nation can hold a decisive technological edge while remaining rooted in its pluralist heritage and human dignity.